Greg here on the third floor. I'm here with Cody Hyatt and Patrick Healy, and we're talking Outcasts. Quick disclaimer, when we filmed this, the M3 was still in open beta, so some of the details we talk about might change, but thematically everything should remain about the same. Okay, so Leveticus has always been one of my favorite masters. I've never played Outcasts. I've always loved the model. I've always thought he's really, really cool. How does he work in 3rd edition?
So Leveticus is all about the grind. He's about attrition. He's about sacrificing his health and doing a bunch of damage to you.
How so? How does that work?
So,
you want to go ahead? Yeah, he's got his typical entropic attack that he can take damage from himself to get pluses attack and damage on the trigger.
Okay.
It ignores a lot of your defensive tech, like hard to wound. I believe it still ignores hard to kill. And then his whole crew shares basically two themes. They all share a defensive trigger called Unmade. Okay. So on a tome, on defense or willpower, after just resolving, after it's done, you're going to take one unreducible damage.
Oh,
so if
that's
they get a tome in a defense duel, you're taking a damage back.
Gotcha.
They all share an aura called Entropy. If you start your activation in an Entropy aura, take a damage.
Interesting. Okay.
So he's bleeding you down.
You're just losing a point here or losing a point there.
And then as you bleed down, then Levi picks a model and just says, dead.
Interesting. So if Levi's losing health like that, is there something that's replenishing his health at all?
Yeah, so he has a mechanic whenever he dies, he places base to base with a hollow waif, and he gets 2 of those for free because you get your totem for free. And he places base to base with them, heals 8, and removes all the conditions on it.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. Yeah. So in order to kill Levi, I would have to get him down to 0 wounds, which would then bury him. And then make sure there's no way.
He just places in base contact.
Oh,
he just
really?
He teleports the hollow wave, places.
It's not a summon. It's not a
replace. Sacks the wave, heals.
So you have to make sure there's no waves when you kill Levi.
It's either kill the waves or kill him 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now he will be bleeding himself as this goes as well. He will be channeling. He will be taking damage. Now he can damage his models as well with a bonus action to heal himself as well.
Okay.
But he's definitely an attrition, burning you out faster than he burns himself out.
And you can only have their limit 2 waves, right? Any way to summon or bring back waves? So it's 3 lives.
It's 3 lives, yes.
Interesting. Very, very.
So he's not immortal, but he's hard to kill.
And it's important. He also has a quick action where he can look at the top, I think it's 3 cards of the deck.
3 cards.
Yeah, and he can put them back in any order. He can also discard them and take a damage for each one he discards.
Interesting. Okay.
So he's taken 2 damage to get himself on pluses. He's looking at those 3 cards. He's like, oh, here's 2 severes in a week. I'll put severe weak, so I'm getting that severe, and then I'm going to be straight damage. So there's that severe.
Interesting. And I mean, I guess you'd have to come into it as if you're going to play Levi, you have to say, okay, I'm going to die. And I can die up to 3 times. I may not be on the board by the end of the game, but if I take this damage smart and I do this right, I'm taking models off the board across the way from me, and I'm coming back twice.
Remember that Entropy and the Unmade ability?
Yeah.
If it happens near him, he can actually, once per activation, he can heal himself. He can heal himself for that 1 damage, or heal another friendly model nearby as well.
Interesting. Okay.
So there's a little bit of he's going to bleed, but he's going to bleed you faster.
Got it. How about his totem? Anything special? I mean, is that literally all the waves you're doing?
They have some interesting injured synergy.
Okay.
So they can put injured on you.
Okay.
There's a few other models in his crew add injured as well. And then they can actually end the injured condition on you to deal damage equal to the injured condition to you.
And are they relatively fragile?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I would imagine you wouldn't want them out there in front of.
Your positioning is really important because if you're sending him back to the deployment zone, that's in some games that's as good as dead anyway.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. And that place has no range, so I could be 20 inches away from my waifs, and if I go to 0 wounds, I go back to it. Okay, that's good. All right, that's Leveticus. So I've got Levi on the table. I'm expecting an Amalgam crew. What are some key models that I'm probably going to see?
I think we first want to talk about Rusty Alice. That's the henchman. That's his love interest in the fluff. We might as well talk about her. And she is incredible. She's great.
Yeah.
Amazing gun. It's min 3. It ignores some defensive tech as well.
Hard to wound.
Yeah.
Nice.
12-inch range, shoot 6.
Jeez, it's a long range.
12-inch range, min 3, reach out and touch you.
She has rapid fire, so she can have 3 shots a turn. She's just pumping out the damage, fitting the theme. And she has the entropy aura. She has armor.
Yep.
She has all those unmade things, making her great.
Very, very
and
nice.
if you do engage her as a range model, she can hit you for pretty good damage and stack injured on you.
Nice.
She also creates hazardous terrain. She can heal herself. Rusty's ready.
Okay,
You're going to see
good.
Rusty.
Yeah.
You're going to see Rusty. I could see actually hiring Rusty outside of theme sometimes.
Yeah, I might see it in other crews.
She might be worth the Merc tax.
Yes.
Very, very cool. All right, who else? I know Ashes and Dust is...
Oh, yeah, Ashes and Dust, big boogeyman. He's still here. He's great. He's a little bit different now. One thing to note, his splitting apart ability now, for the core, so he splits into 2 things when he dies. He splits into a Dust Storm and an Ashen Core.
Okay.
The core is now a replace effect. So the core, if Ashes and Dust is activated, the core does not activate now.
Got
Because
it.
it's replaced.
Yep.
Now the Dust Storm will still activate.
Okay.
But he's still the Ashes and Dust we know and love. He can't get conditions. He ditches a card to just ignore conditions. If you give a condition to him, he can ditch a card to ignore it.
Got it.
He doesn't have Swift anymore, but he's incorporeal now.
He's only 9 points now. He's great. He's incorporeal. You're probably going to see him running around a flank because when he turns into the core and the dust storm can come in from a flank. So if you invest a lot of AP in killing that incorporeal model, he can still merge at the end of the turn.
Yep.
If he's running down a flank.
Gotcha. Any limitations as far as how many times he can merge and merge within the same turn that he dies? All that's allowed?
It's just at the end of the turn.
Just at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're both alive.
And then,
Nice.
The other thing too is his melee attack looks okay. It's a 2/4/5, which looks decent.
It's decent.
But he has a built-in crow, so he can take 2 damage to increase his damage by +1.
Okay. So
he becomes a 3/5/6.
Got it. And depending on where your positioning is, you're not worried about him dying or getting 0 wounds and splitting anyway.
And this is the first model that we were talking about who has a trigger on a tome for when he kills a model. It doesn't drop markers, and he summons an A-bomb off of it. Abomination. So
Levi has this as well.
yeah, and all of the models have the tome as well for the irreducible damage back to you on the defense and willpower. So every tome is great.
Yeah.
Small ones for doing damage to you, big ones for turning
Still has
into
the
A-bombs.
entropy aura, so you
Interesting.
activate near him, you're dying. It's that bleed just coming out, bleeding.
So
bleeding.
both Ashes and Dust and Levy are potentially summoning more models. On
Bring
the
us the
table.
little abominations, which we should probably talk about next.
Yeah.
It's kind of his little thematic minions. They're not really good, but they're just annoying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to get up in your face. With the 3 inches of them, you can't heal.
Ooh, okay.
They're slowly pinging you down for damage.
Right.
I mean, they're just going to maul you as they get up on you. They have a built-in trigger, just stack injured on you. So as they start attacking you, the next one attacking you is better at attacking you.
Right.
And it's better at attacking you.
That against certain crews, they'll need to waste AP on maybe killing a summon one just because it's turning off that heal aura and it's pinging them for damage. And if you don't kill them, they have an action where they can, where 3 of them can turn into a desolation engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch that, or
Gotta watch it, yeah.
they're
keep it
gonna
down.
form into a big beater.
Which then gives out abominations when it dies.
Wow. Okay, that's kind of cool. Like you kind of get a feel for what's going on there, and now I understand what you mean by the grind.
Yeah.
Where over time you're just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Where it sounds like Levy is coming back. His guys are reforming. They're summoning other models, and I would imagine if things are going your way, you start just dominating the table.
Exactly.
Yeah. He wants the end game of the game to look like just him and his lovely ladies. That's all that's left on the board.
That's
Everything
cool.
else
I
is
said
dead.
it's very thematic, that idea of entropy. Stuff is just falling apart, and he's just making something out of the scraps.
That's cool. How about out of faction? Anything good out of faction for him?
A lot of people really like the emissary because you're doing damage to yourself, and the emissary has a bubble where when you activate within 3 of him, you heal. And the crew is pretty slow. And when you activate near the emissary, you get +1 movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but when I say out of faction, I mean like keyword that goes across outside of Outcasts.
Necropunks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great little scheme runners for
How
them.
so?
They're super cost efficient. Yeah. So they're only 6 points. They have 6 health, or they're 5 points.
5 points.
They're 5 points have 6 health. They're hard to wound. They have armor, and they have a leap with a built-in mask on the leap. So a lot of leaps are missing that.
Yeah.
So, but it's got a built-in. I think you need a 6, and that's it. So
So
he's
incredibly
a fantastic
mobile. They're
steam.
just going to fly down a flank, something like breakthrough. They're just there.
Very, very
And if you want to go send a guy over to kill the armor 1 hard to wound guy over there.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yep. And at that price, they're somewhat disposable, but it looks like it's going to take a decent amount of AP to get through.
They still have entropy.
Yeah.
You're also bleeding when you kill them.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Any versatile models? You mentioned the emissaries. Or any other versatile models out there that...
It's going to be hard because his crew's a little expensive. You're hiring Rusty. You're hiring Ashes. He has another enforcer, Marlena Webster, who can kind of basically take some of the damage from Levy. She's got a version of Levy's attack and Tropic Withering as well.
Gotcha. So you may not have the extra.
He's kind of running expensive in his faction already.
That makes sense. What's Levy and his crew afraid of?
Control.
Yes.
How so?
The problem with Levy is he's going to hurt himself like crazy, deal a bunch of damage to you, and kind of hope that you kill him. Because he can't kill himself. Because he can't take any of the triggers that would kill him. And he can't do his take 2 damage to get plus flips if he has less than 3 wounds.
Oh, that's interesting.
So a Levy sitting with 1 wound is kind of a sad Levy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's just a stat 5 model who's going to hit you for min 2.
Oh, so you have to have a minimum amount of health on Levy to get a lot of those extra benefits.
Yeah, so maybe stacking some debuffs on him and just let him do his thing and say, I'm not going to kill you. That's going to give you what you want.
Make it hard for him to hit you.
There's no benefit to getting him down to 0 wounds unless maybe the waifs are
the
take him out of the way.
If you've got the waifs
Interesting.
gone.
Okay.
Something that can really mobile and get out there and hunt down a waif.
That's
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, so maybe some flank beaters or something
Flyers,
like
a flying beater.
that. Makes sense. That
You
makes
see it
sense.
like a Nephilim crew could actually be kind of nasty in there.
So stylistically, what kind of person would enjoy playing this crew?
If you have a dark soul. If you just get next and be like, nope, you can't do that. Oh, by the way, take a damage. Oh, by the way, take a damage. Oh, you did that? Take a damage.
Now, it sounds like, though, it's a little bit of a steep learning curve here because it sounds like positioning super important. Obviously, a lot of resource management with the health and stuff like that.
There's a lot of...
I would say he's on the moderate end of
Okay.
the Outcast Masters. He's not one of the easiest, not one of the more difficult. He's still going at your face, right?
There's a lot of just stuff to remember. You got to remember, when that activated, entropy triggered, when this, this. So it's a lot of just little things you got to catch and remember.
So you may need to get some practice in, right?
Yes.
So that way you can just kind of get used to everything, remember things, everything that pop up.
Yeah, as long as you don't have any sort of social anxiety that's going to prevent you from saying, oh yeah, add another damage. sorry, sir, add another damage, then it should be pretty easy.
Oh, that's cool. All right, that's Leveticus.